LPT. Calculate your net worth every month. This is really easy to do and will give you insight into your finances. Even add a line items for change from last month and subtotals of retirement accounts, taxable investments, liabilities. I am doing this and wish I started sooner. It's pointing out each month the positive changes taken to pay off debt like car loans, mortgage, etc., along with investing account increase. It gives you a chance to monitor each account and make purchases to your investment accounts, especially when the market is down. More so, it allows you to see what's happening with your money and you'll likely be encouraged to push along. Positive changes like making extra payments on a higher interest rate loan. This isn't only for homeowners. As a renter, this is equally as useful. Wishing I started this years ago. Imagine the graphs that could have been generated by now. $40,598. I don't like playing this game. This can work well for debts you are trying to pay them off. But you'll drive yourself insane looking at investments this way. Your goal is long-term growth and there are periods where you lose money. That's incredibly depressing until it bounces back. For people that don't have self-control, check once a quarter or semi-annually to avoid selling your investments. Sophie automatically does this, and Mint. I tried it doing monthly but it didn't do much for me personally. I do it every 3 months now and yes, it helps a lot. Highly recommended. LPT. Do it, guys. This takes a bit of initial organization, but the result can be amazing. Knowledge that will help with many life choices. 20-somethings. Take it from this 60-something. This sounds incredibly anxiety-inducing. Do you have a template for this? How to do this? Asking as a beginner. Kinda. Be mindful to keep an eye on perspective and financial goals if you do this. Changes in the market can result in large swings in your net worth that can result in anxiety. For example, a market shift of say 20 would be a change of $200K if your net worth was high. I'm seeing this now as my home value is included in my net worth, so it looks like I'm down about $25,000, which is irrelevant since I'm not moving anytime soon. Glad you think it's useful, but no way am I going to. I don't need to and it would be obsessive. Giphy L1 as Ni3YWAARRBMGCI took your advice, what now? Or you can use Mint and it will do the math for you. I do this about once a year. Every month, I got better things to do. Empower personal capital? There are apps that generate everything for you automatically. You need to spend maybe 10 minutes a month on it max. I use YNAB so I watch my net worth every month. It calculates it for me since I input all my transactions and reconcile investments. There is a very thin line between pragmatism and insanity. Well, if you want to be a particular kind of human, then this is a great tip. But do you want to be this kind of human? I've done this for almost a decade. I would recommend it to anyone. It keeps you in check. Lets you know where you are, and the data over time is so helpful in remembering where you started and where you are now. Why monthly? Seems far too much work. You'll just notice short-term fluctuations, the noise basically, and not focus on the long term anymore. And you don't need to know your NW to know if the market is down. I do this exercise annually and that's enough for me. I just use Mint. Great UI. Works with all of my accounts and gives you monthly insights to get an overall picture of how you spend your money. Nice graph over time and tracks your credit score. I love it. Oh, and it shows your best L net worth, cash on hand, investments, debt, etc. all in their own tabs. Not a paid advertisement, I just really like the app. My net worth is $1,562. Good way to think of doing this. It's called a balance sheet. Lots of creditors need them for lending. Bonus tip: add a column for delta net worth, difference in net worth between dates X and Y. That way you can see how much you're gaining, losing each interval by the dollar amount. I'd rather just set a monthly reminder that says you're poor, haha. Less work, the point still gets across. I am familiar with the number 0, sir. Last year 0. Last month 0. Last week 0. Yesterday 0. Today 0. My guess for tomorrow? If you need to improve, this is good advice. Once you have established good habits and a good system, it becomes less important. This is hard as a homeowner since it's difficult to calculate equity in a place that you've put a lot of sweat equity into. Do I stay conservative and use the initial appraisal value? Do I take of the money I've put into it? That just feels like guessing. This is actually great advice. I've noticed that most people are hyper-focused on monthly expenses payments. But they should focus on net worth to understand the long-term implications of their current decisions. That's better than mine. Mint app does a nice job calculating all this for you. I own many things. Which things count towards net worth? Does my car? Does my dishwasher? What if my dishwasher is a $2,000 Mealy one and my car is a $1,500 beater? What if I damage my things? Does that decrease their worth? Reminds me of my idiot friend who said he was a millionaire because his home cost $5 million our currency, when the guy had 4.5 of it in debt. LMFAO. When I explained to him he's actually in the negative because the market had gone down, his face changed. No, don't do this. Go live your effing life. I calculate mine daily. I have a running record of all our assets and liabilities. Don't do this. Unless you are under a strict budget, hand to mouth. If you are doing well, this will just waste time every month. My financial advisor says not to do it more than once a year. But that's a little hard for me. Lol. Retirement. What a silly concept. Yes, I'm a cynical millennial. Lol, I don't fucking think so. Net worth FFS. Where should I start? What categories do you include? Any tips on how to do this? I keep a spreadsheet to track monthly expenses by category and use that to predict how much we'll spend in the future. Annual inflation is assumed by category and can be tweaked as needed. Do you use current value of the home? I noticed that overshadow everything else since you increase and decrease in home prices so dramatic compared to rest of the portfolio. I highly recommend using an app called Mint. It will do this for you and helps you track all your finances in one convenient place. There may be better apps out there now for tracking net worth, but I've been using this for years with no issues. There's a distinction here though. Investing at the start of every year isn't a timed investment. Really. It's just dollar cost averaging with bigger gaps than you'd usually expect annual rather than monthly investments. Your point is probably still true though. Weekly or monthly is still gonna reduce the risk of missing out on the few days of big gains. Just have it tracked automatically. There's plenty of resources that will link to your banks and such to do this. I use Empower, formerly Personal Capital, and it generally works well. Some account get out of sync occasionally and the tagging of expense categories could be improved. Still $0. Thanks asshole companies laying people off to hire retired boomers for minimum wage because they will just work because they are bored.